Hi Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube and the digital universe. I'm Tabby Wells and I'm the creator of Small Gods, which is a dystopian television show that I've been working on for the past few months. What started off with just writing a pilot episode script has evolved into something much bigger than I ever thought it could be. We've had multiple rehearsed readings over Zoom, we've had original concept art and music created, and we're now at the stage where the project is going to be pitched to different production companies and studios. So what is Small Gods, you might ask? Well, Small Gods is set in the post-apocalyptic city of Nightwing, 35 years after a chemical war. In this city, there are multiple different guilds that are warring for absolute power, from a guild of ancient assassins to a very corrupt law enforcement, all under the rule of tyrannical government. But little do they know that there is a very ominous and perhaps extraterrestrial force lurking underneath that threatens life as they know it. As the project is in the pitching stage, we wanted to thank all of our followers and supporters by introducing a new piece of content that personally I think you guys will find really exciting. Recently, I've been having interviews with the cast of the final rehearsed read, asking them questions about the world so that you can get a better insight into what Small Gods is really about and why we all love it so much. There are multiple interviews for you to sit through, so you can sit whilst having a cup of tea on a rainy day or maybe on your way to work, or just as something in the background. But I'm hoping that they keep you hooked and give you a reason to keep supporting this project, which we're so unbelievably grateful for. So sit down, get comfortable, and most of all, enjoy.
It was almost like an instant thing, but there's such a history to it, which I'll keep very brief. So I've always been a fan of dystopian books, films, all of the like. So I was a big fan of Divergent, The Hunger Games, Handmaid's Tale, that sort of vibe. And that was kind of my teenage years, just like that sort of genre. So as soon as I started reading the script, I was just transported back and kind of went into a bit of a fangirl moment because I just adored it. So that was the main reason why. And also as well, I think I just found that this whole world was just so complete and it just seemed so real and the characters seemed real and just everything in it just really kind of, I just felt like I was really drawn to it. And I already was a fan of it just from reading the script, and I could just see it all happening. Yeah, so obviously you've got such a great representation of non-binary characters that is so rare, and also to have them as big almost lead parts, like that is so refreshing to see. I also love the fact that there isn't necessarily any kind of crazy romances or anything that goes on with it. This is something I've had a kind of a real issue for, especially growing up in film and TV, that people would almost unnecessarily be having romantic relationships or getting their kit off or anything like that, and it didn't really kind of help the storyline. It was just there for effect. When you're kind of growing up as well, there is almost like a huge focus on romantic relationships in films and in TV shows, and sometimes they're very unrealistic. So you can always end up, looking at a show and be like, oh, I should be having relationships or sexual relationships like that. And so the fact that it actually just focuses on friendships and familiar love, I think that is so rare that actually that is the main focus, because it those almost kind of get shoved to the side sometimes in storylines, and actually the people we have around us, regardless of our relationship with them, is just as important. And I think there shouldn't be so much pressure on having that forced on you, especially at sometimes a young age. And sometimes as well, the dystopian kind of genre is more of kind of that younger age bracket. So it's just really kind of, it's almost like a safe space. That's kind of how I view it. I think my favorite kind of relationships are the core four, kind of seeing how they are so different and yet they kind of still manage to get on in this kind of weird, almost like sort of brotherly, sisterly, all that sort of thing kind of relationships. and just the way that the characters bounce off each other, like it feels like that they've been at this for ages and they just get each other, and it's just really fun, like reading through it, and their interactions are just so funny. Oh gosh, I just adore her. She is it's as an actor, it's very rare that you will necessarily find a role you that you find similarities in, but then are almost so stretched in your and how many layers she's got, because I think she's so multi-layered, and I think that's the great thing is seeing her kind of unfold, because she is this kind of very kind of, you know, optimistic healer, you know, just wants the best for everyone. And that's kind of where I feel like I connect with her, because I'm very much like I try and stay positive, and I'm very much kind of, I don't like necessarily conflict. I kind of like everyone to be happy. And but then there is almost this power which is kind of inside her, and it's just ready to kind of burst. And I think that's the thing, she's really underestimated, and I think that is her power. And that as an actor, being able to kind of delve into that is so refreshing. It's very rare that you, as an actor, you find that there is a role that is so multi-layered and you can really get your teeth into and just find out more and more about it. Like she's so multi-dimensional, and I just love the fact that, you know, she's just a great person but also can pack a punch as well. Yeah, I think it works so well, because I think as well it's almost like some of these powers really reflect what the character's like on the inside, because obviously, you know, she is, you know, she wants to look after her people, she wants to make sure they're safe, and so the fact that she is a healer just makes complete sense. And I think as well, like kind of going kind of on the sci-fi route, kind of going to like, you know, Fantastic Four, that sort of thing, you know, the fact that when, you know, all of the things that happen in this world, you know, that creates essentially what everyone ends up in Nightwing and other places and things like that, you know, it's almost like, for me, I kind of saw it as that was the knock-on effect, you know, that if people were, you know, slightly exposed to whatever was happening, then it was almost like it kind of went into their psyche, and then, you know, either born with gifts or whatever down through the generations, as a knock-on effect. So I think for me, almost like on two levels, like the fact that it really complements the characters, but then also makes sense in the world that you've created and the circumstances that have led up to where we're at. It just makes total sense. And, you know, who doesn't love a superpower?